Hi everyone, I'm Mariam. Today I'm going to present you an application by SYSTRONICS called PJC Security. For Stage 300 project and job costing module users, it is a well-known fact that there is no standard way to restrict user access to certain contacts. PJC Security takes care of this. It allows restricting user access to permitted contracts only. Users will be able to enter transactions and view contracts which they are authorized to work with. So how does the application work? The authorization is based on the first contract segment defined in PJC Options. For instance, if you have defined the first segment in the PJC Setup as department, branch, or division, in your company you can authorize users to inquire and use only contracts of their own departments, branches, or divisions. I will show an example in the sample company of Sage 300. In the sample company, the first segment is sector, as you can see. So the authorization will be based on sector. Even though the application allows defining security by the first segment set up in PJC Options, this segment can be used anywhere in the contract structure. Let's view what segment codes does this segment have. There are 4 segments in the sample company. After activating the application, you need to use the JX User PJC authorization screen to assign segment values to users in order to enable them to work with contracts. The users will be able to use only load contracts in the transactions. I have 3 users in my company: admin, which is authorized to use all the contracts; user 1, who is authorized to work with contracts which have 120 sector value in their structure; and user 2, which is not assigned to work with any contracts at all. If the user is not assigned to any contracts, it cannot work with any contracts, enter transactions, or view contracts related to any contracts. Let's go to PJC transactions, and I will show an example in the contract maintenance screen. I am logged in with my administrator, so the administrator can see all the contracts which are available in the company. We have 5 contracts. We can select any contract and see them. Now let's log in with another user, user 1. Which was authorized to use contracts only starting with 120. As you can see, there are 3 contracts where these contracts can be used by the user. For example, we can add a contract starting with the segment value which the user is not authorized to work with. And press add. An error message appears saying that we're not authorized to work with the sector 220. We can also log in with user 2. Sorry. And go to contract maintenance screen. This user doesn't see any contracts in contract maintenance screen at all. So let's go to our admin user. The areas which can be controlled by the application encompass the following: using PJC contracts in AR and AP invoices, using PJC contracts in PO transactions, PJC contract maintenance and PJC transactions, as well as a number of predefined PJC reports. On the supported screens, users can inquire only the documents which do not contain any restricted contracts in the entries or detail lines. Otherwise, the document is hidden in finders or skipped during navigation. When users enter job-related transactions in Sage 300 PJC, AR, AP, and PO modules, they can operate only with allowed contracts. This relates to viewing, creating, modifying, and posting transactions. The user can work only with the transactions that contain only allowed contracts in detail lines. If the transaction or document contains at least one restricted contract in detail lines, the user is not allowed to see the whole document. Now, I will show an example in AR job-related invoices. Now I'm logged in with my user 1. I'll add an AR invoice, job-related invoice. For customer number 100,200. Summary type and job-related invoice. In the Finder, we can see that only the contracts which have segment code 120 in their structure are visible for the user. Let's select one. And add the entry. Let's just remember that the batch that we added was 73. Let's have a look from invoice batch list screen. We have 73 entry, batch number. Now let's go and log in with user 2, which is not authorized to work with any contracts in our company. Go into invoice batch list. As you can see, the batch is not visible at all for our user because it cannot see the transactions which have details with restricted contract numbers. The contracts which do not contain the restricted segment in their number structure, as well as the contracts where the restricted segment is left blank, are fully available for all users. All other contracts that contain the restricted segment in their structure are hidden for restricted users or denied to access. It's worth talking about the export-import functionality as well. Users can import and export contract information or transactions only for allowed contracts. PJC Security also controls user access to PJC information via reports. Users can print 7 predefined PJC reports, which are the following, you can see. On these reports, the user can see information only for the allowed contracts. For all other PJC reports are hidden for restricted users. Let's see an example. I want to be logged in with user 1. We'll go to PJC Analytical Reports and print, for example, Contract Summary Report. As you can see, only the contracts are printed which have the segment code 120 in their structure. All other reports are not printed on the contract. There are a total of 3 contracts printed here. Please note that users that are not defined on the JX User PJC authorization screen can print all of the reports without restrictions. You need to set up all the users that have Sage 300 PJC access in JDX to prevent them from printing unauthorized information in reports. I would like also to talk about the benefits of the product. It allows provides higher level of information security, also better management of internal information, reduced time to find relevant information as the users see only the contracts which they are allowed to work with. And least but not least, the program is simple and easy to use. Thank you.